Hello Internet, and welcome to another episode of Help for the Guildless. My name is Cole Spire, and I have a very special episode to do tonight, and unfortunately it's not on a topic that has anything to do with geek culture. It more along the lines has to do with what has been going on in America over the last few days. I don't know if you've been watching the news. If you haven't, and you haven't been on Facebook or even YouTube at any point in time, you've been living under a rock for the last few days. The biggest mass shooting in America's history happened just a few days ago. The total is 50 dead, including the shooter, with 53 injured. I believe 2 of those injured are police officers. One of them was an off-duty cop who was doing some side work as a bouncer at the club that was shot up. In Orlando, a villain, in the truest sense of the word, decided to take his religious ideology and attack 100+ civilians, killing 49 of them. Snuffed out their existence that quickly. And that's kind of what I want to talk about. This is not a topic that I enjoy discussing, which is why I don't deal with this stuff on my channel. But this happens to be an important thing. This is a historic moment in America, whether it be good or bad. Now, why something is being pushed that it's not is what's pissing me off and what is making it what I need to talk about. If you were to be watching the news, you would be hearing about how we need more gun control and we need laws and regulations for this so this doesn't happen again. What they won't tell you is that the person who did the shooting, who I'm not going to name because I don't want to give him any credence or any amount of fame, even on this small channel. I don't want anyone to misconstrue what I'm saying here, so pay attention. He was an American citizen. Not only was he an American citizen, but he went through the background checks and the legalities to purchase those guns legally. He purchased them with this distinct possibility, since I'm not him, I don't know, to specifically use those guns to commit this heinous act. Now, how do I know it has to do with his religion? Well, what is not being pushed is that he was a Muslim. And that is a huge, huge deal right now because of everything that's been going on in Europe and the mass migration and the roving gang rapes and everybody talking about Islamophobia like it's something that is important. This man, this demon, took it upon himself to listen to the Quran and its teachings and his Islamic leaders in giving the victims what they deserve, because he's doing them a favor. the club's name was Pulse. And he went in there with a couple minutes before last call. When he went in, before he started shooting up the place, he called 911. And he said he pledged himself to ISIS. And then opened fire. And when SWAT and police showed up, he took hostages. All because they were homosexual. Technically, and this sickens me about the media and the SJWs and the regressive left. That's a hate crime. But it's not being touted as a hate crime. Now, the president himself, the current president, the all-knowing, all-powerful, and I'm saying that with sarcasm, the guy, America's CEO, declared this act an act of terrorism. But it is not being pushed as that. This is being used by SJWs and the regressive left as a platform to push for stronger gun restrictions. And I don't know if you know this, but E3 is happening right now. Holy crap, one of the biggest and most important things in the geek world about video games is going on right now. And there are games journalists that are going around saying that maybe you should ask game producers to think before they make the next video game that glorifies shooting. Maybe you should second guess making that next first-person shooter. Are we really going back to that? You couldn't prove that guns created violence or caused violence before, so you moved on to sexism. And now you can't prove that games cause sexism, so you're jumping back onto violence because of this tragedy that had nothing to do with games. But that's beside the point. Don't listen to the media when it tells you this is about gun control, because he got the guns legally. They were registered to him. They were his firearms. Instead, listen to the interviews of the father and what he says. Because his father was his influence. And his father, who has ties to around where I live, was doing budget television, preaching about homosexuals being beheaded, and preaching the Quran and how much it should influence the world, and how the world is dying, or the Western world is dying because they're allowing all of this to happen. They're allowing the sickness of homosexuality into their culture. So one of the major hashtags going on right now that is being started by SJWs like Sarah Butts is hashtag not all Muslims. You know, when the kill all men thing happened, and then the yes all women, and then the not all men hashtags, the not all men hashtag got so much fucking flack. And then they go around and do this. This just shows more social justice hypocrisy. It's okay when they do it, not okay when anybody else does. The SJWs should be raging, should be up in arms about this. especially someone like Sarah Butts, since part of her community just got slaughtered. 49 people is a good chunk of people. 53 is a good chunk of people. 49 dead, 53 injured. And of those 53, and of those 102 people, 100 of them were homosexual, were part of the LGBT community. Gay, lesbian, whatever. And instead of being pissed off like she should be, she's telling people to not judge him on his race and not judge him on his religion. Well, his religion is what caused him to do it. So I'm sorry, I'm going to judge the living shit out of that religion based on that one person and based on everything else that that religion has been shown to be doing. The Islamic world, the countries that are profoundly run by the religion of Islam, it is still illegal to be homosexual. Where if you're found to be homosexual, 3 things happen to you, or have a possibility of happening to you. You get castrated. You get put in jail for the rest of your life, and get castrated. Or you get put to death. But this is a religion of peace. This is just the outliers, the extremists. Well, we didn't blame the plane manufacturers for 9/11 when Muslim terrorists, Islamic terrorists, slammed 2 747s into the World Trade Center and killed thousands of people. We blamed the terrorists and the religion of those terrorists. So why is it okay then to blame the guns and the gun manufacturers instead of the person and the religion of the person who created this heinous act? And when I say create, I mean that's exactly what he did. He made it happen. He chose for it to happen. He decided it was going to be tonight. On top of that, he was talking to people on apps, making sure they were there. This was a horrible, horrible incident in America. It is the worst mass shooting in history. History. Recorded history of America being a country. I don't talk about my religious affiliations on this channel because I don't see it as important. I don't talk about my sexuality on this channel because I don't see it as important. I don't talk about my political stance on this channel because I don't think it's important. But for this topic, it is very important. I am telling you right now, I am an agnostic person. I am so close to being an atheist, and it's just because of things like this, where your religion is telling you to do certain things, like go in and kill 50 or go in and kill as many people as you can in a gay bar, because you're doing them a favor by killing them. You're doing them a favor by slaying them, because in the eyes of Allah, they are nothing but filth. And this affects my community, not just because possibly some of them were geeks, but because I am bisexual. And that's part of my community. And it saddens me because I have 2 kids. And if either one of them grow up to be part of that community, I want them to be proud. And as for my political standpoint, I don't like either president right now. Presidential options. I consider myself a conservative. I'm not Republican, I'm not Democratic, I'm definitely not a liberal. Do I think we need more gun control? No. Do I own guns? No. but I'm not adverse to owning guns. I've fired guns. I used to own a bow and arrow. I also owned a crossbow that I had underneath my bed just in case. This affected me in a way that it shouldn't have, and that was I felt bad for people that I've never met before. Because as an American person and as part of the LGBT community, this was a travesty. And to see the media push it the way that they are, as it being something for the gun lobbyists and the anti-gun lobbyists to go back and forth on, is bullshit. Call a spade a spade. This was nothing more than an act of terror, and when the President of the United States comes out and says that's exactly what it is, then you need to push that narrative as what it is. Not try and shift it to make your anti-gun lobbyists happy. This was a hate crime, pure and simple. And my heart goes out to every single person who knew someone at that club that did not make it. Because they were, as feminists like to put it, they could have been your brother, your father, your uncle, your best friend, your sister, your mother, your aunt. It doesn't matter. They were people that did not deserve this to happen because of how they were born. I don't know if I'm going to do any more talks like this if something happens, but thank you for listening to me. I've been rambling for about 17 minutes now, and because I don't know how to deal with this. I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do. This was a horrible, horrible incident that happened. So, thank you for listening. My name is Cole Spire. If you liked what I had to say, please hit like and subscribe. Share this channel around. Help me have it grow. If you didn't like what I had to say, let me know in the comments. You can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter. And you can also follow me on Twitch. I've been streaming recently with a couple of friends. So, you can enjoy watching us play games if you want. Join in the fun. Thank you once again for listening, and I hope everybody has, if anything, if you have a loved one, let them know that you care about them. Thank you for listening to me, guys. Have a good night.